Hello, everybody. Welcome to the European Southeast Asian Q&A. My name is Philip. I'm a pricing consultant, and that means I tell you what you need to know so your prices can grow. Today, we have quite a lot of questions that came in from the outside. So I'm going to start with two of those at least, and then I'm going to check chat. I'm just starting and would like to give discounts, but not hurt my long-term profitability. Of course, it's normal to have an instinct to discount your prices when you think your value that the customer is getting is lower than it should be. But I wouldn't do that unless a client asks, and always ask for something else in return. So you can offer discount, but then say, but if everything turns out all right, I would really appreciate a quote or even a half a minute of video testimonial or something like that. So you get something in return, because you disproportionately need references at that point. And that reference can actually bring you more money in the short to midterm than the difference in price would actually mean to you. And also, yeah, if it's a one-shot, if it's a one-shot project, that's all there is. So yes, give a discount, a proportional one if you can, and get something actually more valuable in return that costs your client little to nothing. But if it's a long-term one, or it's a series of projects for that client, when you give the discount, you have to make it loudly. You have to express it. You have to express it in your invoice, and state the reason why you are giving that discount. So you can clearly show when that discount should no longer apply. So yeah, I'm giving you a discount because although I'm not new in this field, I am new working with you and your business. But in, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months, I will know enough, give you the value that you should be getting, and then the discount stops. And as long as that's made clear from the beginning, you can actually make good business that way, because from the beginning we had a deal that this discount would stop. You will not then have the trouble of the psychology of raising your price, right? I'm not raising my price. I'm just lowering my discount. It's not the same thing. My price was always the same. You're just not getting the discount because I'm not a beginner for you anymore. Before I start figuring out what problems I should be solving, is there one question I should ask myself? I would talk about two here. This is positioning, right? Are you a person that does stuff, or a person who knows stuff? Are you somebody who makes design, or somebody who knows how to do design? The difference can seem trivial, but it's not. Because once you think of yourself as somebody who knows how to do design, there's more things than you can do than just design. You can show other people how to do that. You can get a task to just look at what a group of designers are doing and notify your client if something is wrong, if something is wasteful, if something goes wrong in any way. And if you just think of yourself as somebody who designs, then you're not even going to think about that. And all of these services that are not, for which you need to know how to design, have usually a better price, a higher markup. They're higher up the food chain than simply doing design tasks. Of course, this goes for anything else, not just design. So that's the first question, right? Are you a person who does something or knows how to do something? Because most of you are people who know how to do stuff. Not you can also do it, but you can also do many more things with that knowledge. And then the second question would be, from all the things that I can do or I know how to do, what's the most useful to clients in order to either accelerate or deaccelerate change? If the change is wanted, then the clients want to accelerate it. If the change is not wanted, then they want to decelerate it. In either case, they will want to pay somebody to help them to do that. Before you come to the question of what problems should I be solving, these two, I think, are important. What if my clients simply can't afford to pay more? Okay, that happens. It's about your target market, right? I'm going to give you two examples where this was the case, and the solution was basically to focus more and not look at the broad picture. Because in the broad picture, what everybody has in common is that they like lower prices more than higher prices. That's true for anything in the world. And as long as that stays the only criteria, that's a problem. But I had a client who wrote CVs, and people regularly told her, of course I don't have the money to pay you. That's why I need a job. I need a job so I can pay for stuff like that. So you're either cheap or I have no money to pay you. The other example is a client who made business plans, and very similar thing. People said, of course I don't have a lot of money to pay you. I mean, that's why I'm making a business plan, right? I have many things to invest in right now, and business plan is just one of them. And if I had money, I wouldn't ask for more money. So these sound logical, right? These are just, these are classes of people who don't have money, and it's you chose to work with them, so it's logical that they can't pay you more. But turns out it's untrue. Among all of the clients who needed a CV, there were clients who weren't hunting for their first job or weren't unemployed, but were employed and wanted a better job. And whatever better job means, it usually means at least somewhat higher pay. That means that they will have a difference in salary from which they can easily afford to pay a CV. So all you had to do was make a payment plan in a way that they don't see it as very risky, right? And since she already had good results on people who did pay her, got new jobs. So she basically stopped talking to the clients who needed their first job or were unemployed, and she talked to people who needed a better job. And those kind of clients could pay much more, four times more actually. And now she has a profitable business, still using the same skills. She just said, yes, okay, there are people who can't pay. Those are not my target clients. Maybe some of them will get the money and pay me, and that's great. But if they don't, the same thing, well, a similar thing happened with the business plan writing. He actually got a lot more money, but in a way that he slightly reduced his upfront pay, slightly, like 10%, but got another 2/3 of his price as a success fee. Because when people take on business loans, they usually get fair amounts of money for that. And it's fairly easy to get people to pay with the money that they don't have yet, but will get because of you. So he gets only 1/3 of his total pay now, total price, upfront, and he gets 2/3 when they get the money, and that makes them very secure. That makes them believe that this guy knows what he's doing, because he is also risking something. He's risking 2/3 of his pay, and that allowed him to charge more overall, because he also has a very good success rate. And in that way, he got clients to say, yes, perfect, I'm going to pay you up front a little less, but he has like 90% of a success rate. So he gets quite a bit more money now from those same types of clients, just by positioning his price in a way that shows that he's confident, and that the money is largely coming from the pool that the clients wouldn't have without him. So those are two examples that I know where people genuinely couldn't pay and had good reasons for that. And those basically weren't good primary markets, target markets, or just weren't communicated in a way that agreed with the clients. Because if you say to those same business loan applicants, no, you have to pay me everything in advance, they will pay you everything in advance, but like 1/3 of the amount of money that my client is getting now. So it all depends, of course, but usually it's never simple, but it can be solved. It can be solved. This one is fun. I sometimes need to have too much work and need to send customers to my competitors. Is there a moment where this is okay? Yes, but the question is, who are actually your competitors? Because when people think about their competitors, they usually get them both too broadly, think about them too broadly, and too narrowly at the same time. When I say too broadly, I mean, do you think that Kia Motors, is a competitor to a Jaguar or a BMW? Not really. Why? Well, they both make cars, yes. But there's almost never somebody who is comparing a Kia car and a BMW side by side and deciding between them, right? Even if a BMW owner needs to buy a cheaper car for his kid or something, and he's considering a Kia, he is not at that moment considering a BMW. So they're not really competitors, although they do, let's say, the same thing. That's the too broadly part. The too narrowly part is, and I get this a lot. Let's say I want to invest in a great business opportunity, and I find a high school which has no bakery next to it. That means I have no competition. No. Actually, what problem is the bakery solving? Well, the hunger of the kids. Okay. There's no bakery right now. Are the kids hungry? Oh, no, 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 no. You can buy a sandwich, you can buy a chocolate, you can buy fruit. There's just no bakery. So do I have competition? Yes. Entrenched competition. So very hard to break in. But nobody sells them bread-based snacks. Well, sandwiches count, but yeah, that doesn't matter. This was a made-up example, right? But I get a lot of I don't know, IT guys telling me, yeah, I made a software that does what no software in the world does. Firstly, that's becoming increasingly unlikely. But secondly, even if it's true, yeah, okay. But many business administrators do that every day. And yes, you can hire a VA, virtual assistant, for very little money today. In that case, all of those VAs are your competitors. But that's not the software. Yes, nobody cares. If you're aimed to the same public and solving the same problem, not just software is your competitor. So it's complicated. So sending somebody to your competitor is a complex question because of that. But let's talk about direct competitors here to simplify. There are still cases in which you can send somebody to them, and it can be a right business decision. Like you said, when you're very busy and you can serve them right now, and you know that the timing is important to them, it's sometimes better to do them a favor and connect them with somebody else, because they will remember that. They will know that you made, let's say, a sacrifice, at least at the back of their mind. So I don't know, if you come to a butcher shop and you want to buy some piece of meat, and they say, yeah, just leave it. It's technically for sale, but it's gone bad. You will be very happy about that, because they had a vested interest in just getting rid of the meat, and they shielded you from it. And the next time that they say, yes, this is a great piece of meat, you will believe what they said, right? Because they made the sacrifice the first time. Yeah, so if you're too busy, or for any reason can temporarily not guarantee the quality of your service, it can be a good decision to send it to send a client or a potential client to a competitor. You can even make a pact with a let's say a reasonable, a friendly competitor, and say, look, when I'm too busy, I send clients your way, and I expect you to do the same thing. The most important case in this is where you're just not the specialist that they need. You can sometimes be recommended for things that you don't know. I was recently recommended by a client for PR, I think, because what I do is strategic marketing, pricing, and that's marketing is just like PR, right? So I probably know PR. I don't know PR. I have no idea. So I just thanked the client for the referral and transferred the client to somebody who I know is great at PR. So they were happy. The client was happy. Even my client who referred me was happy because their client was happy. So everybody was happy. And that made much more sense than me frantically trying to, get my bearings and say something smart about a field that I have no knowledge about. The answer is it depends, but yeah. How can people ignore the difference in quality and focus only on the price? That's the $1 million question. you know a lot more about what you do than your clients do. That's the default position of anybody who is an expert in anything. So it's sometimes really hard to see how can clients not see the difference. There's a big difference when people buy things they don't understand. If they sense a risk in the decision, if they are afraid they could make the wrong decision, or if they're not afraid to make the wrong decision. Even if that belief that they would know if their choice was wrong is completely misplaced. So I talk a lot about car washing. I know next to nothing about cars, but I can point at the car that was washed well and one that was not. I can tell them apart easily. I may think I can do that with contracts as well, right? I can skim a contract and see if it's well made or not. I can't. I really can't. But I may believe I can. The same thing with, I don't know, dentistry, design. There's a whole list of things that I know nothing about. And then I may think that I do know enough to see if the job was well done or not. But if I'm not worried, then I'm just looking at two boxes. I should buy one of them. They're both black. I know nothing what's in them, but I only know I should buy one of them, and one of them is cheaper. Of course, I'm going to take the cheaper one. I probably can't make a mistake. I would know if I made a mistake. So yeah, I'm going to take the cheaper one. But it looks differently if I do feel that I have a reason to worry. Now, the example that I like to give here is, let's say that you don't know Arabic, but you're a tourist somewhere in the Arab world. And the important part of the exercise is that you have a dependent, your old granny or a kid, somebody who is vulnerable, and you're basically tasked with taking care of them. And you're tourists and you don't really know where you are right now. Okay, you have, Google Maps and you'll figure it out. You just need to concentrate on that. But your dependent, whoever is with you, their leg hurts and they're hungry and they keep bugging you about buying some food. And it's dusk and you really should find your way, but they keep bugging you about eating something. And you come across two friendly people selling food that you don't recognize at all. It both smells nice. One is yellowish, one is greenish. They are trying to tell you something in Arabic, but you don't understand. There's something written on there, but you can't read it. The only thing that you can read is the price. And one price is, let's say, $8 and the other is $4. Which one will you buy? Usually, if they're buying for themselves, people will say, the cheaper one, I don't care. But if you're, let's say, buying for a kid or an elderly person, they would probably buy the more expensive one. Even if it's double the price, it doesn't matter. It's $4. You're on vacation. Why? What's the difference? Well, you're worried. You don't know what the food is, and somehow you have an instinct that probably if this one is twice as expensive, it's probably at least a little bit better, if not twice as better. Or the risk is twice as high in the cheaper one because it's cheap street food. Come on. And although we always think of our services as very important, your clients, most of your clients, are exactly in that situation. They have something else they want to do, something that is more important, like in this example, figuring out where you are. And maybe you explained everything on your website or your LinkedIn account, but they're not going to read it. They're not going to read it because they don't have the time to read it right now. In ideal circumstances, yes, but those show up very rarely. So no, they're not going to read it. They're not going to listen what you tell them. They don't have the time. They want to have this done and go do something else, something that is really bugging them right now. This is a situation where they are worried about what they're going to buy. So the difference with the first example is those are two boxes, black. You don't know what's in them, but you're worried that you're going to do the wrong choice, make the wrong choice, and you're in time bind. You don't have all day to decide. In that case, people are usually going to buy the more expensive one. So your task is not just to talk about the processes that you do, but think about what are the risks for your clients if they choose wrong. If they don't choose you and they choose somebody cheap, what can go wrong? Of course, you have a vested interest in telling them that, and you have to be careful how you do that. But if they're not worried and they have no time or mental energy to figure out what's quality, they're just going to take the cheaper one because it's the same. And if they are worried, they're just going to take the more expensive one. So your job is to worry them in a very polite, professional, and constructive way. Don't get me wrong. But and don't do that if they shouldn't be worried. But I gave you the example of a contract. They should be worried. They should be worried that a cheap lawyer will not provide them with what they need. Because, contracts is something that you buy and you never want to use. And if you have to use them, then it's very important that it was professionally made and it covers everything that it needed to cover. Otherwise, it's a complete waste of money. And clients usually can't tell. So it's your job to communicate the worry in a way that makes sense and that will actually shield your client from his own bad decision. And this is how you can get them to care about quality. You can talk about quality until you're blue in the face, but right now they can't deal with that. They have something else. Just do the thing and give me your price, and that's all. Unfortunately, I found that this was the most realistic way of looking at expert services. Thank you all for participating, and I will see you all again in 2 weeks.
Everything changes.